Powerful 6.5-magnitude earthquake rattles Mexico City and popular resort town. On Friday, January 2, 2026, a strong earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 6.5 struck southern and central Mexico, sending shockwaves across the region and prompting widespread alarm among residents, tourists and officials. Round pushpin epicenter and seismic details. According to the U.S. Geological Survey (USGS), the quake originated near the small town of San Marcos in the southern state of Guerrero, close to the Pacific coast and the famous beach resort city of Acapulco. Magnitude 6.5. Epicenter, near San Marcos, Guerrero. Depth, 21.35 miles, 35 kilometers, beneath the surface. Distance to Mexico City, felt more than 250 miles, 400 kilometers, away. Aftershocks, hundreds were reported following the initial quake. The shaking was strong enough to trigger earthquake alarms, send people rushing into the streets and temporarily interrupt a presidential press briefing being held in Mexico City. President Claudia Sheinbaum and journalists were evacuated from the presidential palace before resuming the event once the tremors subsided. Human impact and casualties. Although Mexico has robust early warning systems that helped reduce catastrophic loss of life, this quake nonetheless resulted in fatalities and injuries. At least 2 people were killed, one in Mexico City and one in Guerrero State. In Mexico City, a 60-year-old man died after falling while evacuating his apartment when the shaking began. In Guerrero, a woman in her 50s was killed when her home collapsed due to the quake. 12 others were reported injured, with local emergency services responding to calls for medical aid. In addition, landslides were reported on highways and mountainous areas around Acapulco and Guerrero, complicating response efforts. Reactions and immediate aftermath. SOS button. Public response. Residents and visitors alike felt the quake strongly in both urban and coastal regions. Mexico City, buildings swayed, alarms sounded and hundreds of residents evacuated high-rises, seeking open space for safety. Acapulco, tourists and locals exited hotels, and streets were crowded with people stunned by the sudden event. One Mexico City resident told journalists she was roused from sleep by an alert on her phone and a loud siren just before the ground began to shake. Despite the fear and the distance of the epicenter from the capital, no widespread structural collapse was immediately reported in Mexico City, a testament to earthquake-resilient design and public awareness. Why Mexico is so seismically active. Mexico is among the most earthquake-prone countries in the world because of its location at the boundary of several tectonic plates. The Cocos Plate and the Pacific Plate are being forced under the North American Plate along the Middle America Trench, producing frequent seismic activity along the coast. Past earthquakes, such as the devastating 1985 Mexico City quake, have shown how deeply such events can affect both coastal and inland regions. Because Mexico City sits on former lakebed soils, it is especially vulnerable to shaking and has historically endured some of the worst impacts during large earthquakes. Final thoughts. While the January 2 tremor did not result in catastrophic infrastructure failure, it served as a stark reminder of Mexico's seismic risk, especially in coastal tourist hubs and heavily populated inland cities. The fact that casualties occurred despite early warnings highlights the ongoing challenges in earthquake preparedness and response. As aftershocks continue and assessments proceed, authorities are urging residents to remain vigilant and ready for further seismic activity. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel for more global news.